They told you to follow the rules, blend in, be realistic, keep your head down, stay humble, and don't dream too big. But you were never meant to blend in. You were never designed to be average. Deep down, you know it. There is a fire inside of you that refuses to go out. It flickers when you compromise. It grows when you listen to it. And it rages when you dare to believe not just in the world, but in yourself. The world doesn't shape great individuals. Great individuals shape the world. Every breakthrough, every miracle of progress, every impossible turned possible began in the silence of someone's mind. Someone who refused to accept that they were ordinary. Someone who looked around at the world, saw the limits, and whispered, "I was born to break these." You were not sent here by accident. You are not a placeholder in the great design of the universe. You are potential in motion, purpose wrapped in flesh and breath. You have within you the same divine spark that ignited Da Vinci, that stirred Lincoln's resolve, that moved Edison to try 10,000 times, not fail 10,000 times. But here's the catch. The world is loud. It sells comfort. It markets distraction. It pushes conformity. And unless you silence the noise and listen to the whisper in your soul, you will forget who you are, and worse, you will settle for who you were never meant to be. The first battle is always internal. Before you build the empire, before you raise the invention, before you write the book or sing the song, you must conquer the battlefield of the mind. Because greatness is not a destination, it is a decision. It is made moment by moment, forged in fire, and hammered into reality with the discipline of belief. Belief, that dangerous, rebellious force that moves mountains. Belief that says, "I don't care what they see in me. I know what I am becoming." You do not need permission to become legendary. You need commitment, ruthless, unreasonable commitment. The kind that says, "I will show up, even when it hurts, even when no one claps, even when I fail again and again. I will not give up on who I was born to be." You think Carnegie had clarity at the beginning? You think Disney didn't doubt? You think Oprah never heard the voices saying she wasn't enough? They all did. They all bled self-doubt. But they chose to move anyway. They moved with vision, not validation. And vision is the map to destiny. Without it, you drift. With it, you drive. If you want to become the person you were meant to be, then you must see with eyes beyond what's in front of you. You must develop what Hill called definiteness of purpose. A knowing so clear that even when life punches you in the face, you say, "I still see the mountain. I still know why I started climbing." Because clarity is power, and vagueness is the enemy of progress. If you can't define it, you can't direct it. If you don't know where you're going, the world will lead you where it wants. And the world will always try to shrink you. That's why you must hold your purpose like a sword. Carve space with it. Cut through the fog of opinion, rejection, and fear. When others drift, you must dig. When others quit, you must climb. When others settle, you must set fire to the boundaries they live behind. Purpose is the anchor, but discipline is the ship. Discipline is the decision to act even when emotion says no. It is the quiet, brutal work done when no one is watching. The 5 a.m. alarm, the unread pages finally devoured, the phone turned off, the focus turned on. This is the grind where greatness grows. Don't romanticize the journey. Romanticize the reason. There will be days where motivation dies. Good. Let it die. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the flame. And it burns through excuses, through fatigue, through resistance, through the lies you tell yourself when the mirror starts talking back. You become who you were meant to be, not by talking, but by transforming. And transformation is violent. You must kill your former self. Bury the limiting beliefs. Lay to rest the versions of you that played small to make others comfortable. You were not born to be liked. You were born to be light. And light, real, radiant light, often blinds those hiding in shadows. So be it. The person you are meant to be does not chase approval. They chase alignment. Alignment with their values. Alignment with their future. Alignment with that quiet voice that whispers, "You were made for more." And you are. Every setback is an invitation. Every pain is a teacher. Every failure is a mirror reflecting your unfinished greatness. What if Edison stopped at failure number 9,999? What if Mandela let bitterness become his identity? What if you let fear write your story? You have no idea what waits on the other side of persistence. The person you are becoming is already waiting for you, standing on the mountain of your best days, calling your name through time. But you must move. Not tomorrow, not next year. Now. Because time is not your ally, it is your test. The clock doesn't wait for clarity, it rewards courage. And if you want to become the person you were meant to be, you must take ownership. Radical, relentless, ruthless ownership. Own the pain, own the missteps, own the excuses, own the dreams, own the standard you hold yourself to. No one else is coming to save you, not your parents, not your partner, not the government, not luck. You are the hero and the hurdle. You are the one who must rise. And the truth is, no one is stopping you except you. The person you were meant to be is not waiting for the perfect moment. They are waiting for you to stop hiding. Hiding behind fear, hiding behind doubt, hiding behind every excuse that sounds rational but is quietly robbing your destiny. You say you're not ready, but readiness is not a feeling, it is a decision. The world doesn't pause while you prepare. It moves, and if you don't move with it, you will become a monument to what could have been. Let that sink in. The graveyard is full of unfulfilled potential, ideas that never breathed, books that were never written, songs that never left the soul, speeches that died in silence. Not because they weren't worthy, but because the person carrying them waited too long. You want to become the person you were meant to be? Then you must kill the version of you that waits. Waits for permission, waits for applause, waits for certainty. Certainty is the enemy of courage. If you're only willing to move when it's safe, you will never move when it matters. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't wait for the crowd to agree. He spoke while they threw stones. Rosa Parks didn't wait for the laws to change. She became the change by sitting in defiance. Beethoven didn't wait for silence to hear his music. He went deaf and still composed symphonies that shook the world. You keep asking for signs, but the sign is already inside you. It's the restlessness, the hunger, the ache in your soul that says, "This is not the end for me." That's not a burden, it's a beacon. Follow it. And as you follow, you will lose things. You will lose comfort. You will lose people. You will lose illusions. But you will gain something far greater: integrity. The alignment between who you are and who you were meant to be. That alignment is freedom. Not freedom from challenge, freedom through challenge. Not freedom from pain, but the power to turn pain into purpose. This is the law of growth. The roots must go deep before the tree touches sky. The darkness must come before the dawn. The caterpillar must dissolve before it becomes the butterfly. So stop resisting the discomfort. Stop cursing the chaos. Stop begging for ease. You were not made for a padded life. You were made to climb mountains, to walk through storms, to shatter limitations, not because you enjoy suffering, but because every step through fire forges the steel of who you truly are. And when the heat comes, and it will let it refine you, not define you, because the person you were meant to be is forged in adversity, not convenience. So ask yourself, who are you when no one is watching? Who are you when failure knocks and success hides? Who are you when the voice in your head screams, "Give up"? That is where your future is born. That is where legends are carved. That is where you become the kind of person who doesn't just dream, but does. Who doesn't just wish, but works. Who doesn't just exist, but evolves. You want the crown, but can you carry the weight? You want the reward, but can you endure the responsibility? Because the version of you that has everything you want, the wealth, the impact, the peace, the power, they exist on the other side of sacrifice. This world does not bend for mediocrity. It bows to mastery. And mastery is not found in bursts of brilliance. It is built in brutal daily consistency. Brick by brick, inch by inch, day after day, after bloody, beautiful day. And no, it's not always glorious. There will be mornings when your bed feels like quicksand, nights when your doubts scream louder than your dreams, friends who call you obsessed, family who think you've lost your mind, a society that celebrates escape over excellence. And still you rise. Because you've tasted purpose. You've glimpsed the person you were meant to be, and that taste ruins you for average forever. This is the price of becoming. Losing your old life to birth the new. But make no mistake, this is not about hustle for the sake of hustle. It's not about chasing empty success or comparing yourself to illusions online. This is about alignment. This is about the sacred responsibility of honoring the gifts you were given. The mind that can imagine, the heart that can burn, the hands that can build, the voice that can speak, the will that can refuse to die. You are not here to mimic. You are here to create. To build something only you can build. To love in a way only you can love. To speak words only you were meant to speak. And to stand where no one in your bloodline has ever stood before. You are the interruption, the rebellion, the breakthrough your lineage has been waiting for. Do not shrink. Do not delay. Do not play small just because those around you have made peace with their limitations. Your life is not a rehearsal. This is the main act. And every second you spend doubting is a second stolen from the legacy you could have left behind. Your legacy is not something you leave behind when you're gone. It is something you live right now in every decision you make, in the discipline of your habits, in the intention of your thoughts, in the courage of your conversations. It's not carved in marble, it's carved in your moments. And you have moments. Right now, even this one, a moment that could be the turn, the pivot, the break in the clouds, but only if you dare to lean in, not away. Most people live their lives backing down, backing away from hard conversations, from discipline, from discomfort, from calling themselves out. But the person you were meant to be is not a coward hiding behind fear. It is a lion waiting to roar, a warrior of will, a builder of destiny, a rebel with a reason. You were meant to move differently, to wake up with intent, to walk into a room and raise the standard by your presence alone. Not because you're perfect, but because you refuse to be passive. You refuse to drift through life like a feather on the wind, waiting for the current to take you somewhere better. You become the current. You become the force. This is where the transformation turns to fire. Because as you align, as you act, the world will react. And not all of it will cheer. You will trigger envy. You will expose insecurity. You will become a mirror to those who abandon their own greatness, and that mirror will make them uncomfortable. Let it. You are not here to be palatable. You are here to be powerful. They will say, you've changed. Say thank you. They will say you've become intense. Say finally. They will say you've lost your balance. Say, no, I've found my center. Because balance isn't standing still. It's the art of moving forward even when the weight shifts, even when the winds howl, even when the storm comes. And storms will come. But listen closely. That's when you remember what you're made of. Steel isn't tested in silence. It's tested in fire. And resilience isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, one scar at a time. Every no you turn into a lesson. Every betrayal you turn into fuel. Every breakdown you use as a blueprint to break through. This is not about being fearless. It's about feeling fear and moving anyway, with trembling hands, with shaking voice, with pounding heart, but moving. Because courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the conquest of it. And there will be days when your energy is gone, when your passion flickers, when you question if it's even worth it. That's when the next level of you is forged. You don't rise by magic. You rise by muscle, mental muscle, emotional muscle, spiritual muscle. And like any muscle, it's torn before it's strengthened. So if you're in pain, good. If you're in discomfort, good. If you're confused, tired, tested, good. That means you're growing. The person you were meant to be doesn't rise when it's easy. They rise when it's brutal, when it's lonely, when everything in them says quit and they whisper back, not yet. This is how legends are born. Not in comfort, in calling, not in fantasy, in fire, not in applause, in alignment. You were not given a dream to tease you, you were given a dream to lead you, but only if you obey it, feed it, follow it. The longer you wait, the fainter it gets. And one day, if you're not careful, that voice will fall silent, replaced by regret, by the slow erosion of possibility. Do not let that happen. You are still breathing. That means you are still becoming. But becoming is not about arrival. It's not about one massive leap. It's about waking up one more time than you fell, about building, brick by brutal brick, the inner architecture of someone unstoppable. And once you build it in here, the world will have no choice but to follow. Because all transformation is internal before it is visible. You will know you've changed before anyone else sees it. You'll feel the quiet shift when excuses don't taste the same, when you can't lie to yourself like you used to, when your own potential starts staring you in the face, daring you to do something about it. Don't ignore that look. Rise to it. You weren't meant to live life watching others become. You weren't meant to be the fan in the stands. You were meant to be the fire on the field. And yes, the cost is high, but the cost of regret is higher. The pain of growth is temporary. The pain of potential ignored, that follows you. It haunts the quiet moments, the late nights, the birthdays, the mirrors. You don't want to reach the end and meet the person you could have been, only to realize you didn't become them because you hesitated, because you played it safe, because you let the opinions of others become the shackles around your soul. Number, not you. You were meant to break the cycle, to show your children what relentless looks like, to show your younger self that the dream wasn't a lie, to show the world what happens when one person decides they will not leave this life untouched, unshaped, unchanged. And so you move, with heart, with discipline, with humility, with ferocity. Not waiting for conditions to be perfect, but knowing that you imperfect, messy, on fire, are already enough to begin. You just need to remember. You just need to decide. You just need to rise. And now here it is, the final climactic rise in the storm, the soul awakening close to your journey of becoming. There will come a day when you wake up and the world feels different. Not because it changed, but because you did. You will rise not with panic, but with purpose. Not with dread, but with drive. The hesitation will be gone. The self-doubt, just a scar proof that you healed, not a wound still bleeding. And when you stand before the mirror, you won't just see a face. You'll see a force that refused to surrender to fear, that chose grit over excuses, that dared to believe that impossible is a word made for cowards, not creators. You'll remember the nights you cried in silence, the mornings you moved through pain, the days when you were your only cheerleader, and you will smile not because it was easy, but because it was worth it. Because that's the truth they don't tell you. Becoming who you were meant to be hurts. It costs everything fake. It breaks every illusion. It burns away everything built on fear, pride, ego, and comfort. And what's left is real. What's left is you. Not the version they wanted. Not the version that played small. But the real you. The dangerous one. The daring one. The divine one. You'll walk into rooms and the air will shift. Not because you're louder, but because you're finally aligned. The noise inside is gone. The war has been fought. You know who you are now. And no one can take that from you. Not time, not failure, not betrayal, not even the echoes of your old self trying to crawl back in. Because you burned the boats. You chose the mountain. You embraced the pain. And now you are unstoppable. Not because you're fearless, but because your purpose is bigger than your fear. You are no longer chasing success. You are expressing truth. You are no longer addicted to motivation. You are rooted in mission. You are no longer waiting for signs. You are the sign. And everywhere you go, people will feel it. That quiet fire, that unshakable conviction, that undeniable clarity that says this person has paid the price. This person has done the work. This person is no longer becoming. They have become. You were meant to be a leader not of crowds, but of self. You were meant to build not just empires, but environments where greatness grows. You were meant to speak not for attention, but for awakening. You were meant to rise, not to escape the world, but to elevate it. And so you did. So you do. And now, you lead by example. Because becoming the person you were meant to be is not the end of your journey, it's the beginning of someone else's. There is someone watching you now. Someone younger. Someone lost. Someone who needs your story like oxygen. Don't deny them that light. Walk with power, yes. But walk with purpose. Because legacy isn't what they remember when you're gone, it's what you ignite while you're here. And if today is your beginning, if today is your first step, your final restart, your sacred return to self, then let this be the day you never forget. The day you burned the blueprint they gave you and built the life that was always yours. Because you were never broken. You were buried. You were never lost. You were waiting. And you were never too late. You were right on time. Right now, this moment, this heartbeat, is the beginning of the greatest chapter yet. So go. Go become the person you were meant to be. And don't stop until the world knows your name. Not because you shouted it, but because you lived it. Fully, boldly, unapologetically. You.